Wow, so there's a lot of problems going on with Pokemon Go, and we need to talk about it. What's good, everyone? It's me, it's Count, here with a brand new Pokemon Go video, and just like the title suggests, and just like that intro suggests, there's a lot of stuff going on in Pokemon Go that's just causing a lot of negativity within the community, and we gotta talk about all of that. I want to address a lot of the different issues that Pokemon Go is having currently in terms of the gameplay, in terms of the design, and in terms of the technical standpoint. There's just a lot going on with Pokemon Go that people are very unhappy about it. And I'm going to be talking about all of that in this video, so if you end up enjoying it, make sure you share it with your friends, hit that like button, and subscribe if it's your first time here. Don't forget that little bell as well. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. So yeah, just like I said at the top of this video, there's a lot of stuff going on with Pokemon Go that people are very unhappy about. One thing in particular is this new Ultra Box along with this Adventure Box. Like, all of these things are things that players definitely pay attention to, and I don't think Niantic necessarily realizes that, or they do realize that and they have some sort of scheme that they're not being very open about. These new boxes are just absolute garbage, and something that I was really annoyed by is the fact that the Ultra Box, they took out a lot of those super incubators just in time for when they were to adjust the friendship system to give out 2 eggs per gift. Like, what the heck? Like, I feel like they did that on purpose in order to get more money from players, especially because people will only buy those boxes. Like, they will not buy individual incubators and different things like that. So naturally they were aware that people would want to get more super incubators, and naturally they took out a bunch of them, so you need to buy even more Ultra Boxes in order to get more super incubators. If they're trying to serve the narrative that they're not a greedy company, this definitely does not help their case. So I really hope Niantic pays attention to how players respond to things like this. I do think that eventually it could get to a point where Niantic is seen as extremely greedy. It's already kind of getting to that point. And I would hate to see Pokemon Go be treated the same way that a lot of games by EA and Activision are treated. Pokemon Go is a phenomenal game for free-to-play players. They do a lot for free-to-play players. So I really hope it doesn't end up in a place where people will just refuse to play it or refuse to spend money in it just because the developers and the publishers are just extremely greedy. I hope that's not the case with Pokemon Go. I hope it doesn't end up being the case with Pokemon Go. So Niantic really has to respect their consumers, they really have to respect their customers, and give customers a little bit of a better advantage when they spend money. But on top of that, we gotta talk about the Legendary Raid Hour, because naturally, Niantic being Niantic, they kind of dropped the ball on a technical point with the Legendary Raid Hour for Mewtwo. This was a raid hour that a lot of people were looking forward to, mainly because, of course, Mewtwo is currently out and you could get its shiny form, and the move that it comes with is super strong, so a lot of people want those really high IVs of this new Mewtwo. And of course, as soon as the raid hour started, or at least when it was supposed to start over at New Zealand, it did not do really well. Like, there was just a lot of problems. It didn't start exactly at 7 o'clock local time. There was just a lot of problems with it. And of course, with Australia, it was also just very problematic. So unfortunately, Niantic decided to postpone the Legendary Raid Hour globally until they can get to the bottom of it. I do not mind them postponing these raid hours in order to make sure they're in tip-top shape. But unfortunately for a lot of us, we took time off work, we took time off with our families, we scheduled around this particular raid hour just because it's Mewtwo, and we're not going to get that time back, unfortunately. And of course, if they were to schedule it out to another day, there's no guarantee that a lot of players will be able to have the same amount of freedom and the same amount of time that they would have had today. So I'm really frustrated about this, mainly because not only does this bring up the issue of raid hours being very exclusive, I've talked about it numerous times on my channel, but Niantic from the get-go really needs to make sure their events, their different planned stuff like the raid hour are in tip-top shape, that they're just tightly knit before they release it out to the public. Like, I really wish Niantic had a better track record when it comes to this stuff, but unfortunately they've been known to drop the ball constantly, and it's starting to get a little bit ridiculous. Like I said, people are planning around these sort of events, and for them to not work, you can't just simply say, oh, we'll just postpone it and everything will be okay, because no, people have lives, people have different obligations, and they can't constantly work off Niantic's schedule. We really need to have a system where it's a little bit more convenient for us, but it also gives a lot of breathing room for Niantic. There has to be something that Niantic has to figure out where we can meet in the middle, because not everyone who plays Pokemon Go has free time all the time. I mean, of course, there's a lot of people who will say they play Pokemon Go as much as they can and they work their lives around Pokemon Go, but that's not everyone. A lot of us have jobs, a lot of us have families, and we have responsibilities that we are essentially tied to, so we can't always do these legendary raid hours. Like, the lunch hours were fine for some people, but the dinner hours were better for others, but it's vice versa for some people. So, you know, it's just some stuff that Niantic needs to consider. Honestly, I've been saying this for a long time. There should be 2 raid hours during the week at different points of the day. Like, why not have a lunch raid hour on Tuesday and then a dinner raid hour on Thursday? Like, I feel like that would be a lot better. There are going to be compromises when it comes to raid hours and with raid days, with community days. Like, people will have to make time for these sort of events. I totally understand that. But at the same time, Niantic should consider their players, make the players their top priority, and make sure players have equal opportunities at these sort of events. Like, for example, with Community Day, they've been doing a great job just trying out different times and different days, and I'm actually very appreciative of that, even though in terms of my own personal luck, a lot of those different days and different hours actually ended up being inconvenient for me, because, for example, this past Community Day with Turtwig, I was actually not able to do it because it landed on the exact hours that I work on Sunday, between 11 and 2. Like, how crazy is that? But it was a lot more convenient for other people who work on the community days where it typically happens, like Saturdays between 11 and 2. Like, they work on those days, so having it on Sunday was very convenient for them. So in terms of that, I actually appreciate that they switched it up a little bit. I don't want the game to revolve around me and my personal schedule. I'm not saying that with this video. What I'm saying here is that Niantic needs to consider all players and diversify. That's really all I'm saying. Like, why not have a couple of lunch hours every now and then? Or if they're going to do raid hours, why not have it at different days rather than just Wednesday? Or, you know, different things like that. I really feel like Niantic has to continuously diversify. Of course, a lot of players do appreciate consistency. Like, if they want to have a raid hour at certain days, at certain times, and they want to expect it at those days and times, like, I can understand that. But I really think it's a really big positive for the Pokemon Go community if they diversify. Every time they diversify at certain events, like, it's worked out really well for Pokemon Go players as a whole. I'm really hoping that the makeup date for Mewtwo is something that's convenient for everyone, that they don't do it at some random time like Thursday in the afternoon. I know Niantic is not going to do that, but we just don't know when it comes to Niantic. I really hope they do something special too for the people who are very inconvenienced by this thing. Like, maybe they could have 5 free raid passes in the makeup day, or maybe they could do a 3-hour Mewtwo day like they've been doing for Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. That would be pretty cool. Whatever they end up choosing to do, I really hope they just don't end up dropping the ball again. Like I said, they just had a bad track record for the last couple of months when it comes to the game at a technical point, at a design point, and a lot of the choices that they're making are just not helping them. Like, 2018 was a phenomenal year in my opinion, because I feel like choice after choice after choice and event after event after event, they were just on a roll. Like, there wasn't that many technical issues, there wasn't that many design choices that were very controversial. Like, I really hope that they just kind of pick it up for 2020. Like, the year 2020 is going to be a year where they're just on the ball. Like, they're just cranking out events and different ways to play that are bug-free, and they're just constantly fixing old bugs, and they're just introducing a lot of cool new stuff that's bug-free, you know? Like, I know it's wishful thinking when people who have been playing this game for a long time will know that stuff like that just rarely happens when it comes to Pokemon Go, but I'm just hoping for a better year because I feel like 2019 has been a bit of a roller coaster. There's just been a lot of ups and downs when it comes to Pokemon Go, so hopefully Niantic gets their act together and come out really strong in 2020. I know I'm looking really far ahead, but my goodness, like, it's just been so rocky of a summer and, you know, going into fall for 2019. Like, this is just... it's just a sign of just how Niantic has been kind of in this mindset of, well, at least we're not in 2016, you know? Like, we got to be way past that at this point. Like, we have to make the game better every year as opposed to just falling back and sitting back and saying, oh, I know we're making a lot of mistakes, but at least we're not in 2016, right? So I see that come up a lot with other YouTubers and other, you know, people on social media, like, hey, like, yeah, we've had some problems, but appreciate the fact that we're not in 2016. And I respect the fact that you have that perspective, but it's been 3 years since 2016. We have to have a better game, like a very tight-knit game. Like, is that too much to ask? Like, I don't think it is. But at the same time, yes, I do think we have to give credit where credit is due. Niantic is trying their best to make a positive experience for Pokemon Go. Their community outreach has been phenomenal. Liz is one of my favorite people in the world. She's been doing so good just talking with the community, engaging with the community, and being that liaison that she's supposed to be. She's doing a phenomenal job. And, you know, with Pokemon, like, Niantic support, like, they've been kind of a meme at sometimes, but, you know, they're doing a great job too. Like, I see them very active every day. Compared to the past, yeah, they were not that active, and I can understand, like, we're in a better place compared to before, but at the same time, like, you can't use that as an excuse to have all these problems with the game. My goodness, yeah, like, that's the point of this video. It's to address a lot of these problems and to point out and shine a light on the fact that Niantic can't get lazy when it comes to this game. Like, people will notice, people will be mad, and people will stop spending, people will stop playing. It's just a fact. So hopefully Niantic gets their act together. Again, I do appreciate the fact that they're at least being very communicative about the Legendary Raid Hour issues, that they do plan to make up for it. But when it comes to the small design choices, I really hope they communicate a lot better why they are making the boxes so terrible compared to last month. Like, stuff like that. Like, I just want Niantic to talk more and on the little nitty-gritty things like that. I think that would go a long way. But at least for now, we're going to get a makeup raid hour. At least we can appreciate that. Hopefully it's not too inconvenient. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about all of the things that are going on with Pokemon Go? Are you happy about some of the changes? Are you very unhappy about it? Or are you just unhappy about the raid hour being canceled? Yeah, share your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you ended up enjoying this video, don't forget that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, don't forget that little bell as well, share this with your friends, let's have a great discussion, and yeah, I'm Count Jinsula, and I'll catch you all later. Hey guys, before I leave, I have to give a little bit of a spiel. I mean, when it comes to the YouTube algorithm, it's extremely difficult to gauge how successful you can be on YouTube. Like, there are some times where I have a ton of views on my videos, and there are some days where I just have no views on my videos, and it really comes down to the YouTube algorithm. And there's a lot of times where I get dinged for some of the songs that I pick or some of the footage that I show, and unfortunately it's because YouTube's copyright system is a little bit broken. But if you want to support this channel financially, I highly suggest you check out my Patreon. A link to it is in the description below. Your support definitely helps me out, and it helps support this channel because I would love to crank out more videos and increase the quality, and for that to happen, I do need your help. So definitely go and check out that link. And yeah, big shout out and big thank you to all of you for supporting my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video, everyone. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that little bell as well. Check out the links in the description below. I'm Count Jinsula, and I'll catch you all later.